Hey, so I'd like to play some old school wargame, the first part, European Escalation. And I'd like to take a closer look at the first campaign, which serves as the tutorial and introduction of the game. But rather interestingly, and I only made this connection after we released Global Mobilization, and during the terrain development leading up to that, is that the first mission in Wargame European Escalation is set in the north of the Weferlingen terrain that we have in GM. So I figured I'd just replay the campaign because, in my opinion, it's one of the nicest wargame campaigns across all titles, and give you a bit of a commentary about it and just play some wargame. So I've played this game many times before. I've unlocked all the units, so we can go into the battle with a fully tricked out deck.
April 12, 1975. Fall of Phnom Penh. The Khmer Rouge seizes power. April 30th, 1975. Fall of Saigon. The United States Embassy is evacuated. May 1975. Start of tensions between Cambodia and Vietnam. China and the USSR fight for control of Southeast Asia through their respective allies. July 17, 1975. The Apollo-Soyuz space mission underlines the U.S.-Soviet policy of détente. August 1st, 1975. Signature of the Helsinki Accords to try to calm East-West tensions. December 19, 1975. The East German soldier Werner Weinhold deserts to the west, killing 2 border guards during his escape. December 20th, 1975. The GDR demands the extradition of Weinhold to answer for the double murder. Bonn refuses. December 21st, 1975. Border guards are on high alert on both sides of the Iron Curtain. The tension is at its peak between the two Germanys. Border guards have reported a skirmish in the area of Grafhorst.
That's just north of
West German
Weferlingen,
intelligence has detected movement from Panzerausbildungsregiment 19, not far from the border. The Panzer Brigade 2 is put on alert. Border guards have confirmed a violation of the territory of the Federal Republic by the East Germans. The Chancellery in Bonn declares a state of war.
So we're playing part of the Panzer Brigade 2, which is actually part of what we are playing in the Global Mobilization campaign as well.
Major enemy infiltration in the area of Grafhorst. At least 1 mechanized battalion. Armored units have been spotted crossing the Iron Curtain at the crossing point. A border guard patrol group has reported being under enemy fire. It sounds like they need help.
Alright, let's first take a look at the terrain. It's an older game, so I'm not going to comment on the graphics. It's perfectly fine for the game, I think. Let's focus on, first of all, the giant river here that looks like the River Elbe or like a Rhine river, and it really isn't in this area. It's barely larger than a stream in this area. It's the Aller River. And let's take a look at the villages around here. They give us some idea of where we are. The tutorial is happening. And we can see we have Bardorf down here, Minecart, and then Felbke. I prepared something, which is original East German maps of the area, and we can see here that we have the Aller going past along the border, which is this little small stream, about the width of a car. We have Bardorf here in the south, Minecart, a small hamlet, and then Felbke. And for reference, just about 10-ish kilometers to the northwest from Felbke, there's the giant VW car plant. So the enemy is close. Regarding the Iron Curtain here, it's acceptable, not very accurate. This is an incredible expanse of useful steel, it would be just a ditch, basically, that has concrete faced plates so the vehicles that come from the east would not be able to cross the border, reach through the fence. It wouldn't be concrete fences, and it wouldn't be this type of fence. I will probably make a video one day explaining how these should have been constructed. The towers, I guess it's just, yeah, here we have a better one. It's fine. The crossings definitely did not exist. We had one to the north that was railway crossing only, which is, yeah, it should be this bridge up here. This is Oebersfelde. This is a giant, this main road should be a giant train track that heads to Wolfsburg with the VW plant. And that was one of the approved crossing for rail traffic between East and West Germany. Alright, and with that, let's actually start shooting some enemies.
Ja, Kommandant. Zeit für ein kleines Tänzchen.
We're in the 70s, so we get only crew leopards. And quite interesting, I guess this is part of the game design, that this is meant to be a tutorial mission, because the lead attack would not be with ancient old T-34s. Alright. Let's see what we can hear.
Ja, Kommandant, haben Sie was für mich? Spucken Sie es einfach aus. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant?
Yeah, it's a tutorial. We just assume everyone knows about wargaming and how it works. Right. Oh, I realized there's actually no move backwards button in the original key. Enemy recognition, SPWs, and more tanks, which is fine. Nothing that the leopards can not deal with. Meanwhile, they're advancing for some reason. I don't have control over them. Another interesting thing here is that we actually got 4 leopards, so that's 1 platoon. But since we are in the mid-70s, this would be still one of the earlier structures of the army, and we would be only having 3 tanks per platoon. But I'd heavily take the extra leopard here.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Haben Sie was für mich?
Advance. Okay, task. Advance to the next bridge and see what's up there. Not getting any units yet. I assume we're gonna get control over some recon. That's an interesting, again, it's just a game design approach to that Wargame has taken. Because you would normally have the recon units, so the dedicated reconnaissance tanks, like in this case this cheese wedge here. Oop, cutscene. Right, yeah, they explained to us that the recon units have superior optics and are more stealthy. So the way it would normally work is that these units would operate in front of the main defense line, and they would be, for example, happening what we are doing now. Let's assume our leopards are part of the reconnaissance party, a bit of force reconnaissance, and the idea is that we keep our units attached to the enemy as they push or as we advance. And these forward units are not necessarily meant to actually engage combat. They are meant to stay attached to the enemy units and know where they are, so kind of like glued to them without getting whacked themselves, so that the main bulk of the friendly forces know where the enemy is, know where the enemy is moving, and can make strategic decisions accordingly. But in Wargame, it's basically necessary to have recon units embedded with your armored units to make sure that they can actually use their max range. So I'm really missing my
Rücken auf
drive backwards
Koordinatenkurs.
button. We're gonna just attack from the west here. Oh, there's another thing I see on the map. We have the triangle indicating that presumably this is north. It's not. It's obviously the east. But again, it doesn't really matter for the gameplay. Routing the units.
Ja, Kommandant. Haben Sie was für mich?
Let's advance further.
Sprechen Sie.
Let's see if we can pull off this mission without any losses. My poor leopards.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Oh, Kammer and Kessel. Maybe use advantage. No clever. No brand. That's another real great aspect about the original Wargame that I very much miss in the follow-up titles. It still exists to a degree, but it's not as embedded as this. Which is that if I manage to keep these leopards alive, they will level up, they gain confidence and combat proficiency, and I will be able to use them in next operations. And I usually actually get attached to some of these core signs, so if Mobius keeps doing well, it's going to become one of my lead spearheads, and I'd like to make sure that that will keep happening to my units, because obviously reinforcement supply and all that is not a guarantee. And maybe it's an aspect of roleplay as well that's involved here. We actually have the sectors. Yes.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Ja, Kommandant. Ohne uns wären Sie blind.
So far so good. No enemy contact, but my recon is a bit slow. Okay, yeah. Really don't need my recon to reveal himself. Shoot.
Spucken Sie es einfach aus.
Team, oh, right.
Ist das mal ein ordentlicher Kampfkommandant oder noch so eine Jagd?
Oh, the trajectories actually have ballistics. Yeah, archers, nice. But the enemy has been routed, that's good enough, we can advance.
Sie es einfach aus. Ohne uns wären Sie blind. Spucken Sie es einfach aus. Meinen Sie mich? Ja,
Not being
Kommandant.
flanked.
Bereit fürs Verlegen, Kommandant, einfach aus.
Watch for dismounts. Quite amazed at the time when this game came out of just the amount of detail they actually put into the ground units, because most of the times you're playing it from way up here and it really doesn't matter whether the unit has jerry cans on its side, but I'm glad they did it. Panicked. They really
Der
want to know
Feind
it.
ist in Reichweite. Ich aber auch.
It's down to half ammo, let's use and conserve the rest for self-defense.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Haben Sie was
Let's
entdeckt?
onward. Oh, we're 10 minutes into the operation, we've done about 2 kilometers, 3 maybe. Oh, we're moving quite fast. Again, there's not much resistance. It's a tutorial mission.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant?
Actually, hotkey for stopping units. Stop E, alright.
Man sagt, ein guter Speer ist einer, den man nicht sieht. Spucken Sie es einfach aus. Sprechen Sie. Over. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant?
First Panzer Brigade units arriving in the area. Oh, that's all the ticker says. We got supply and they already got themselves stuck. Great. But we can request reinforcements. We have 200 points. We're not going to get any other points. Okay, he's explaining that. Since we have to... Okay, the task is destroy the enemy bridgehead in Alpha Sector. It's built up area. We have no infantry. Alright, this is a bit annoying. Let's go with the most modern Leopards that we can afford. This is very anachronistic for the 70s. Let's get them. There's another fun fact. The Leopard 1A4 is actually, arguably, the best of the Leopard 1s. Those of you who know that there's a Leopard 1A5, it may suggest that the 1A5 is the best one. But the reason for the 1A4 being the better one is it's basically been the test bed for the Leopard 2's fire control system and optics. Which means it has all the advanced thermal optics and it has laser rangefinder, so it has a way better first hit probability. Once they realized, yep, this is working, and they went ahead with the deployment of the Leopard 2, which itself has never had as a replacement for the Leopard 2. They started then changing the 1A4s back to 1A2s, I believe. Don't take my word for it. No, 1A3s because they have to military. And another thing is that the 1A4 was only deployed in the south of Germany. So here in the mid-north, again. But I'm happy to have it. Great target prioritization. This one's there. Unstock themselves. Why are you routing? It was a tutorial thing. We get an ATGM'd. Gonna be a Malyutka, but it can be very unhealthy for my Leopards. If they would miss. Not miss. The Malyutka is notoriously difficult to steer in real life because it's not even semi-active, it's manual command line of sight, which means you have a dude sitting in the turret here with a joystick and he has to look at the missile flying and steer it as if he were on the missile instead of just aiming and the missile goes where they are aiming. So plus it's of course a complex piece of technology, which means they rarely get to train with a real thing, which means the combat effectiveness with the Malyutka would probably be pretty bad. Alright, that was one lone BMP. I'd like to have my recon back. Ooh, nuts.
Haben Sie was für mich? Ja, Kommandant.
Oops. My supply is empty.
Wieder auf der Straße. Sprechen Sie, over. Meinen Sie mich?
Let's go. So this is a bit annoying. We have to take a city with only tanks, and generally the idea is if you can't go through, you go around.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant?
We'll make do.
Haben Sie was für mich? Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant? Sprechen Sie, over.
Oh, he's gonna shoot another Malyutka. Well, I shouldn't complain about their aim because my Leopards don't do well either. This is another thing with the BMP 1 when you have the Malyutka in real life, there's a little hatch. I can't zoom into it, unfortunately. At the top, basically in front of the gun. That little hatch needs to be opened, and then someone literally puts a new rocket on the launch rail, which has the unfortunate side effect that the entire Malyutka system is only usable once under chemical protection. So if you're in an NPC environment, opening the hatch is the thing you don't want to do. So you get to shoot the one that you have on the pipe, and that's it. You can't reload, because you would compromise the vehicle's NPC protection. Which the BMP-1 was the first vehicle designed for warfare, under
Haben Sie was entdeckt?
chemical warfare, under
Wir erkunden
nuclear
das Gebiet.
contamination.
Haben Sie was für mich? Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
And it influenced then in turn the design of the Marder, which we're not having right now.
Haben Sie was entdeckt?
Right.
Ja, Kommandant. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant? Sprechen Sie. Over. Meinen Sie mich? Zeit für ein kleines Plätzchen.
Let's park these there.
Haben Sie was für mich?
And let's do some
Sie es einfach aus.
close advance. I think the best approach is we swing once around the town, just pick off what we can from the outside
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle,
to
Kommandant?
avoid having to go into the town as long as possible and defeat as many enemies as we can from the outside.
Spucken Sie es einfach aus. Haben Sie was entdeckt? Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Fine.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Send these to look down main road. See what we get out of it. Nothing.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant? Ja, Kommandant. Rücken auf Koordinaten. Spucken Sie es einfach aus.
I'm not sure in the first wargame whether you could queue orders. Let's see. Stop them, send them here, send them there. Do they? Yes, queuing orders works. Okay, that's going to be way more helpful.
Haben Sie was für mich? Speer bereit, Kommandant. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
Okay,
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle,
second
Kommandant?
element.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Spucken Sie es einfach aus.
Move the entire part ahead.
Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Ja, Kommandant. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant. Meinen Sie mich? Haben Sie was für mich? Brauchen Sie ein paar Augen und Ohren vor Ort, Kommandant?
Right, looks like the town is mostly clear. May have to mop up some units that are in the buildings. Right, what's this map look? Okay, we got... Yeah, we probably have to expect enemy from the north. Yeah, there we go. North of town. Ooh, they're gonna shoot through it. Enemy defeated.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant? Haben Sie was für mich?
Okay, we gotta go in.
Kommandant. Spucken Sie es einfach aus. Meinen Sie mich? Einsatzbereit,
Maybe
Kommandant.
there's some in the hedges here.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Kommandant? Ohne uns wären Sie blind. Ja, Kommandant. Einsatzbereit, Kommandant.
We had enemies approaching from the west as well, which is interesting because isn't that where we are?
Wie lauten Ihre
Friendly
Befehle,
zone,
Kommandant?
They get covered from the one I forced in the distance. Yeah, they have no chance. Flanked. Let's wait for these guys until those are in position to cover them there.
Ja, Kommandant.
Yep. We achieved that as well.
The resistance at Urbisfelde has contained the first
Nice
assault,
pronunciation.
but NVA mechanized columns managed to break through at other points.
Ah shit, we missed a secondary point. Oh well, can't win them all. And with that, I shall move on to the next mission.